Hello, everybody. So I'm Matthew Bosley. I am a Universal Healing Tao certified instructor and also country coordinator in the UK. And I'm so delighted to be talking to Jutta Kellenberger today. Many of you watching this will already be very familiar with Jutta's work and her teachings. She's a fantastic inspiration to everyone in the Universal Healing Tao community and further afield. I'm a great admirer of her work as well. So thank you so much, Jutta, for joining us today. For people who might not know Jutta, she's a senior instructor with the Universal Healing Tao. She teaches students internationally and also with Master Chia in Tao Garden in Thailand. She first became a student of Grandmaster Chia back in 1987. And in 1990, she first became an instructor, and in 2001, a senior instructor. She's also the global branch leader for Tsang, which is an amazing organ massage. And she's written a book called How to Develop Inner Beauty and Outer Radiance. And also, finally, she is a country coordinator for Spain now. So just before we start the interview, I should say that Jutta is coming to teach in London for us on the 9th and 10th of March and the 6th and 7th of April this year. So we're looking forward to hosting Jutta. And of course, all the details will be down below in the information box, as well as how to find out more about Jutta. So that's enough from me. Hello, Jutta. How are you?
Hello, Matthew.
Yeah, so thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Well, welcome. I'm glad that you invited me.
Yeah, we're very happy. So first, really, I want to find out a little bit more about so how you first came to the practice, and I don't know, your life before meeting Grandmaster Chia, and you know, what were you doing in those days?
I had always somehow a desire to do something in this direction, but I could not really name it already as a child. And yeah, my family did not really approve that. They found it rather funny. And so I lost this vision for a little while when I was like getting into puberty, and then until I start working. And I was a little bit out. I was not so concentrated on anything. Like I was very religious at one time, and then I wanted to go more into the shamanistic practices of South America. And anyway, so I lost it. And when I was about 23, 24, it came back into my life. And I really wanted to do something in that direction. And then it happens that I found this book about how to open a microcosmic orbit. And I was interestingly reading that, and I found it really interesting. And I wanted to feel this orbit. And then I set a time that I would do it every day a little bit. And I practiced every day a little bit until at one point I could really concentrate the orbit, like from one point to the next, you know, like from one energy center to the next. And that made me super happy. So that was that focus that I developed in this like 1 week or 10 days of practice to go one round and feeling this orbit without distraction. That was really something great. And then I also said I also wanted to meet Master Chia. That was later, like when I found this book about sexual practice, how to cultivate female sexual energy. And that really was too confusing for me because ovaries, uterus, I hardly knew where they were located in my body. And then to connect with it energetically was quite, no, I didn't know how to do that. And then that made me curious to meet the author of the books. And then I met Master Chia, 1987 in Munich for a 2-day workshop.
Mm. And then how long was it until you started realizing that it would be something you'd be interested in teaching and sharing?
That took many more years because the interesting part was at that time, the world, we didn't really know about energy. Honestly, there was not much about that in the world at all. There was, when you go to a library, you would find mainly the Quran, or you would find, one library I found a book about yoga. And there was no esoteric department, so that was all like in the dark, and for me to feel this when I concentrated, that there was something following me, that was already like, made me so curious. And then when I was in Munich and Master Chia was teaching a microcosmic orbit, and when he did it with a group, I felt my own orbit so much stronger in his presence. And I always look at him because I couldn't imagine. He didn't even look at me. He didn't even notice me, but I felt my microcosmic orbit so much stronger in his presence. So that made something click in me. And I said, I want to learn that. And that was the beginning.
Mm. And so it just developed naturally into then you sharing it with other people as well. So I mean, I know in my practice, I was practicing for a few years, and then I suppose for me it was just a process of just really wanting to share this, phenomenal energy work, which had completely transformed my life actually. So I think it's a familiar experience of finding something that you really deeply resonate with. So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to teach that at all. I was very shy. I was super shy. When people talk to me, I would get red, I was flashing. So no, I would not even imagine to teach it. No, but I wanted to learn it for myself. And that's why when Master Chia came again into Europe, I attended again his workshop, and then I learned other teachings of his, and then 1990, I decided I really want to go. Yeah, I want to become an instructor. That was not really to teach it. I wanted to be 4 weeks, in an intensive training. That was more my ambition. But of course, during that 4 weeks, I realized that I also wanted to teach it. I saw the benefit in it, and I really wanted to teach it.
Mm. And you mentioned that many people around you found the practice a bit strange as well. It's very, very new and unfamiliar.
Yes,
I also very much
unfamiliar,
resonate with
yes.
that.
Yeah, definitely. In Munich, I was the only one who could feel this energy. And some of them, they fell asleep right next to me because the energy was so strong. The master's energy was so strong, so that it was just not, the energy could not go into their body or onto their body. So they were just sleeping in a way. But for all of us was a very extraordinary experience, because at that time, we didn't know about energy, We didn't really, basically every religion is energy, but we don't speak about energy, like Buddhism, you don't speak about that you work with energy, or Christianity, but it is,
So did your communities change at that time? Were there people around you who actively didn't like what you were doing, for example?
No, I was not really talking to many people about that.
Yeah.
I had a few friends in my work. I would share it. They were also like spiritually interested, so I would share what I knew. And I had also for some time one of my colleagues. She was also attending Master Chia's workshops for one or two, I don't know, a few years. I would say so. Yes, but I did not at the beginning. I didn't really influence anybody. I think because I was so in myself and doing my work. And I also had the feeling I needed to build up a lot of myself. Like I became also a little bit stubborn in regards to my surrounding, because I realized when I practiced, when I did the inner smile, the 6 healing sounds, then when I went out into the world, I was balanced, I was feeling good, you know. And when I didn't do it, at one point, I missed something and I was not so balanced, you know, when I was outside, being with my family, or I was not so balanced, yes. And so I needed that retreat to work on my own energy very much so. So I was not ready to teach it also. I started after the instructor training. I think I started teaching 2 years afterwards. 1.5 years afterwards, yes. But not right away.
And after that, you spent quite a long time actually teaching with Master Chia in Tao Garden, Thailand. So do you want to speak a bit about
Yeah, no, I mean, it was like this. I was still working full time at that time. But then Master Chia bought the land in Thailand to build the Tao Garden. And that was 1993. And then he had, at the beginning, he had some Westerners who would take care of the registration for the course and so. But then they left. And then 1997, I would say, he needed somebody. And he said he would prefer a couple, because Tao Garden at that time was very isolated. So you were really like basically in the nowhere. There was a tiny little village with a supermarket, but that's about it. So the next bigger city, Chiang Mai, was like 25 kilometers away, or 30, you see. So it was not so interesting, basically, for Westerners, because they could basically not do anything. There was no TV, no nothing, you know. So when you are stressed, you think, that's exactly the place I want to go. But when you're there 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then you think different, no? Because we are not used to be so isolated at that time, you know, at that time. So anyway, so that's why they wanted to have a couple. And at that time I was married. And then I said, let's go, you know, let's go to Thailand. And 1998, I quit my job, and then we moved to Tao Garden. But I mean, we were already I was practicing 10 years already. So I was not like a newcomer going to Tao Garden. So I was already in the system for quite some time.
Can you maybe speak about, so you wrote your book, I think you said just a few years ago, maybe. What led you to want to write a book? And you know, what can people learn from that?
Master Chia. I don't know when, but I think long time before, he already said to me, you know, Jutta, you should write a book.
Oh, okay.
And writing is not really my skill. And I thought, wow, this is a real big task that he asked me to do. And I postponed it. And then one day he said, how about your book? Yes, I have started. I've started. And then I wasn't sure, should I write German? Should I write English? What should I write? Should I write about my miserable life that I had? So what should I write, And so I started. And then my computer got stolen. No, the first computer broke down. That was the thing. And I didn't have a backup. Like I also was not very good with the computer. So at one point, this computer broke down. Oh my God. And all my 30 pages that I've written. So that was the first thing. Then the second, okay, I start again. So I start writing again. And Betty, the second computer got stolen. And I didn't have a backup. So it was really a complicated story, this writing. And then I start again. And then at one point, I walked out of the restaurant in Tao Garden, and Master Chia came in, and we were right in the middle. We were looking at each other, and he said, "How about your book?" And I looked at him, and he said, "You want that I write a book for you?" I said, No. I do it. And then I really sat down and finished that book. That was the story. So yeah, now I'm a little bit more courageous, and I might write another one, but it's not really, I don't think in the next few months, but with the experience I have, so I'm also could imagine that I write another one.
Well, I think you should write another one.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So also for the viewers who might not be so familiar with the practice itself, and if they hear inner alchemy Qigong, they might wonder, what that is. They might have heard of Qigong and Qi maybe, but really what distinguishes, the universal healing Tao system from other types of practices? And what would you say is the core of the teaching for you?
Yeah, that inner alchemy is actually the core of the teaching, because the universal healing Tao system is a system, and it's systematically building up the body, the mind, and the spirit. So the Qigong is not any Qigong, and the Tai Chi is not any Tai Chi. It's all based on it should go all in connection with the system, because it builds up the energy. Yes. So it's definitely the inner alchemy is the connection with our organ energy. So in the Tao, we say that our organs, like our 5 major organs, they are connected with our senses. And they say like in a relationship, like parent-child relationship. And I think this is a very important aspect, especially now in this world, because like in the Tao, we say like our eyes are connected with the liver, and tongue is the child of the heart, and ears is the child of the kidneys, and the nose is the child of the lungs, and the mouth is the child of the spleen. So there is an energetic connection like between parent and child. And our society has lost this ability, this connection. And not only with the real children, but also with our senses. The whole world is only focused on the senses, that there is no more connection with the organs at all. So it's like a child tells the parents what it needs and gets it normally, if the, it gets, because the parent, I want to give everything to the best for the child, so the child would get everything they want. You know, it's like you only live with your senses. You have no connection. All your desires arise from all the latest news that you know about music, or about fashion, or you can go in, you can step into anything. You know, you can buy videos, you can also do all kind of shadowy and strange things, you know, when you feel like, you know, everything is open to you, you know, with your senses. There is no more connection with the organ. And so I think this inner alchemy approach is, yeah, it was never more important than now.
Mm. And how would you recommend someone integrate this into their life as well? So I think for me, the Universal Healing Tao system is so good that you can really practice, you know, whenever you have a spare moment. But I wonder, you know, for you, when you started the practice as well, you know, how easy or difficult was it for you to start? And would you recommend, you know, a particular schedule, for example? Yeah,
the best is in the morning. So I was a night person before, and I would normally, like in my early 20s, I would go to bed around 2 o'clock in the morning. And then when I started with the Tao, I was around 23, 24, I don't remember now. But yeah, there was really a conflict, because I would sleep into the morning if I didn't have to work. And then I had other things to do, and I didn't find time to practice. So the only thing I could do is change my lifestyle, go to bed earlier, and so that now it's, of course I don't have this problem anymore, and so that's what I can recommend. So when you go to bed earlier, like before midnight, it's also better for our health, because we produce more serotonin before midnight, and which is actually no melatonin. We produce more melatonin before midnight, and I think up to 1 or 2 in the morning, and then when we wake up, it is transferred into serotonin, and it gives us the energy to run the day, so to say. And it's important to get up, to go to bed early. So yeah, that was one of my challenges at the beginning. But I realized that I find this work, for me, it was so essential that I did it, because I was working shift and my sleeping rhythm was very upside down. And so it was essential that I did this work and to practice the 6 healing sounds in the evening before I went to bed. And that helped me in all those years that I was working like that.
How long was it before you started also integrating the sexual alchemy practice into your life?
That's a good question. At the beginning, I found it also strange because, you know, like many people, when you hear sex, then you always have this feeling like, what? Also sex? Now it's going also into the sex. So we always think negative about it. And it took me quite a while. And I also remember Master Chia would asking me, did you practice the egg? I didn't like to practice that. and it took me about I think 3 years, you know, before I started. It was quite a long time. And he had to also remind me on that to do it. And it was not really what I liked to do. And the truth is, I didn't really understand why I should do it. And that was the missing link, because I didn't really understand. And then when I learned about the fusion, the energy meditation practice, you know, the fusion of the 5 elements. And then later on, 1992, I did also like the first Lesser Kanan Lee training. And then slowly I understood that how important it is for women to, not only for the health benefit, but also for the spiritual awakening, to work with the neck, to strengthen the muscles, the PC muscle, because we need to draw the earth energy up. And that will happen later on in the meditation. But if you have never trained your muscle, and then it doesn't work, you know. I can say that now with my experience, it won't work. So this is an essential practice. And also it is very healing. Many women have problems with the menstrual cycle, or they have problems with discharge, you know, like or candida, or many things, no? And this all you learn in the Tao to basically heal this all with the energy work that we do.
And then Tsang as well is also a particular speciality.
Yes, Tsang is also, yes, is also a very powerful healing modality. And because like we're born from the umbilical cord, and our development, it is not going from up down, it goes from inside out. You know, we start like, now you can watch YouTube to see exactly how a fetus develops, you know, the different stages and how the organs, major organs are built, and from the major organs, the rest of the body, you know. How we manifest in a physical form within 9 months. So it all starts in the umbilical cord. And for this, actually all the problems that we develop, they all begin there. But since we don't feel it, we think, oh, why is my neck so painful? Or why do I have pain here? Or why do I have headache? Or, you know, all these things. And we only, the whole Western medicine is only treating the symptom, you know, like we are so used to treat the symptom. I have pain here, so you put something on here, you know, like that. So you're not going to the root of the problem. And that is the intestine. But it is a quite, also is an art, Tsang, and you need to train it. I mean, it has to be trained. And the more I was lucky, you know, it was not really what I wanted to do, in fact, but I was basically pushed into this when I came to Thailand, because I was the only one, apart from Master Chia, of course, who could treat somebody with Tsang. And Master Chia was busy with other things, so it was not in his mind to treat people. So it was only me. And the first years, there was the Thai people, they did at that time Thai massage, of course. And then there was also the foot reflexology was very in. But they didn't want to touch the belly. They were afraid, because they learned from their teachers that you can touch everywhere in the body, but not on the belly, not the belly, never touch the intestine. So many of them were afraid, and it took quite a while. I think 1998, I was in Thailand. I think it took at least 5 years until the first Thai practitioner was created through Master Chia, you know, through his diligence, you know, talking to them and teaching them. Yeah, it took quite a while. And then I was alone, so I give so many treatments. It was just like, I give so many treatments. Yeah, it was like, whoa. Yes.
Well, I was very lucky last year to receive the massage from you in Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
so
just find the effect, you know, it's miraculous
yeah,
how it works, you know, the healing effect,
yes,
how I could feel the energy so much lighter and
yeah,
moving
yeah,
quickly.
yeah. Everybody needs something else, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, so now I'm doing that also. Yes, the
And did you find that you had a talent for doing this straight away, or it took you some time
no,
to?
no, absolutely no, no. Actually, my family, nobody had ever received a massage, to my knowledge. So it was something totally unaware. We were all unaware about that. And actually, I also didn't really feel like learning it at the beginning because of that, you know, they were so unfamiliar. But since that was all Master Chia was teaching in that period when he was in Germany, offering, you know, so I thought, well, you know, I just do it, you know, that I be with him and learn from him, you know, but I was not really like fond of this at all at the beginning. And now, of course, I also didn't know really what I had to do. You know, nowadays it's changed so much, you know, because at that time, Master Chia didn't have a PowerPoint presentation. He had 3 books, and yeah, everything was so small, you know, so it was not really, there was not a real demand, let's say like that. Now it changed, you know, now people, wow, you know, women, I think millions of people women have already an egg at home. If they ever practice with it, I don't know, but at least they bought the egg, you know, so, and then many people want to learn Tsang. And more than that, people just want to receive treatment, you know, from a good practitioner. And so it changed, yeah, it definitely in those times, you know, it changed, yes, a lot.
Mm. And you've been with the system for more than 30 years now. So you must have seen the system change a lot, or maybe, you know, the teachings have evolved, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, many instructors now across the globe are teaching this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't see, I mean, the system, like before the pandemic, like there was always the same structure that Master Chia taught it, and it was very structured. So, you know, Tsang is Tsang, cosmic healing is cosmic healing, or, you know, there was no intermingling with different techniques. So it was very structured, and but it was always the same. I mean, it was not that Master Chia, he created a PowerPoint presentation, which was very helpful to easier learn the system or each technique that we had to learn. Now, after the pandemic, I only attended, I was last year, oh no, yeah, last year now. I was twice at Tao Garden, and yeah, and then Master Chia has also changed his personal teaching, the way he teaches now. He does it now in a different way, but I think he does it in the right way. So for the people who are interested, that they get it maybe easier, simply because there is simply more awareness in the spiritual interested world about energy. And also that basically everything is energy, but we need to channel this energy. We cannot just activate it and feel it and be happy, because chi comes and chi goes. So we need to channel it, and we also need to collect it in order that it stays with us.
How do people do that?
Excuse me?
How do people do that?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
How they do it?
How? Yeah.
How
can someone start to do that?
By opening the microcosmic orbit, I would say that's the first. And also for women, like the ovarian breathing, the testicle breathing for men, it all runs the backward channel up. And that is the opening of the microcosmic orbit, basically, you know, like, and from that, and that is like channeled. I mean, you feel that energy. It's not just that you feel chi, but you feel the energy running in an orbit in you. And then from there, we go into the fusion of the 5 elements, the meditation, this energy meditation practice where we open, where we create a pearl. I mean, the first thing is in the fusion 1 to feel the sensation of having a condensed energy in the center, behind the navel, in front of your kidneys. And I'm just reading a book, and they talk about the seed pearl. And I really like that name a lot, because once we have this energy pearl, then the big transformation takes place, then the real spiritual part sets in, basically, because we need, without this seed pearl, without the pearl, there is simply no advancement in the Tao. And for this is really a very important step, the fusion. And again, for this we also need, as a woman, to work with our PC muscle. That's really very important. Otherwise, we never get this, when we don't do this sexual practice that Master Chia teaches us, we don't have enough of that energy, to create a pearl. Because energy is consciousness. And we also, without the chi, without this energy, we don't have enough consciousness also, to go on, like.
Yeah. And the Universal Healing Tao system, it seems very, involved, and there's so many disciplines to learn. So for someone new to the system, it can often seem extremely overwhelming. And like all the various practices, you could spend, the entire day doing.
That's
you,
true.
Recommend, to simplify it for someone new, or what are the very first steps to take?
Yes. So actually what I will teach in London the first 2 days, these are the primary steps. These are the steps, and that we have to practice regularly. And it's also good, like when we have more teachers in London who offer courses, who offer group teaching, so that, because at the beginning is sometimes a bit foreign, to do something. It's like one instructor said once, I really like that, when you have your apartment and you have all the furniture in your apartment, and now you go to a furniture shop and you see this beautiful desk, and you really fall in love with this desk, and you think, wow, I really want to have this desk. Everything is so good. This is what I always wanted. And then you buy the desk, and then you bring it home, and then you have to think, oh my goodness, where do I place the desk? And then you have to find a place, and the place is you have to take something else out in order to create room for this new furniture. And so it is exactly when you're eager to learn a new life-transforming practice, you need to create space in your life. You have to ask yourself, what is really important? How do I spend my day? What is really important? And then you have to skip certain things that are really not important. And then you have time to practice.
And then I've found that it becomes a very natural process to integrate the practice in your life. So it's actually, we're talking about a lifestyle really here. It's not just, isolated half an hour here, half an hour there. I actually find that, I'm moving my energy all the time. I'm doing the meditations, quite automatically now.
Well, once the microcosm
we're living in the Tao.
Exactly, but once it is open, it's always moving. So you just have to remind yourself of it, and you feel it moving. So that then that's how we actually, everybody should have it like that, because that's how we are born. So we just basically, that's why Master Chia calls it also like a reborn process, because we are all born with it, but we lost it because we have become too emotional, too distracted, too stressed. And now we have to reactivate it. And once it's activated, we just have to think of it and we feel it. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, definitely, yeah, you know, like the more energy work we do, the more, the more not only feeling our own microcosmic orbit, but we also sense more things, you know, in the around us, no? Or like when we communicate with people, or we become more aware simply about everything, you know, around us in our world. When we go to the city, you know, we are more, more alert, more in tune, you know, with what's going on around us. Mm-hmm. And that's also very important, I think, also in our world now. When we, I don't know if you have watched the news and over the New Year, you know, like there are a lot of things happening in the world, like flashes and earthquakes and all this, you see. So, like, I remember, I was just sending, today I was sending a message to my friend in Japan. I met her. She came to Tao Garden in 2010 when the tsunami was in Japan. And somebody told us in Thailand, oh, you know, there's a big tsunami going on in Japan. And we were like, oh, really? You know, like, because we were so happy at Tao Garden, we could not imagine. And now I connected with her. And we just said, yeah, you know, it's crazy. Now she told me like 3 weeks ago that she's going to India. And now she said also, it's amazing, you know, now the year ends and wow, that's such an incredible disaster, you know, coming over to Japan. And so we started now this year with all these disasters, and it said maybe it continues this year. But when we are practicing the Tao, you know, we have like a very long antenna somehow. And it's not, you cannot really say it because you cannot speak about it, you know, because it's very difficult to say. Like, for instance, I remember in that tsunami, which also hit Thailand, there were also some friends in Phuket, in Khao Lak, and some of the relatives, they passed away, and some of the relatives who were at the same place, they survived. And it's very difficult to explain why they survived. You know, like one of the family members wanted to go into the forest, into the rainforest, somewhere in Phuket. And he asked all the members in the family, but only one wanted to come with him. All the others said, no, we are still, you know, we want to hang out on the beach. You know, we are still a little bit tipsy from yesterday, you know, like this. So he left, and he was the only one who survived. So why did he go? You know, so that is also this invisible antenna that we develop in the Tao that can also prevent us for problems that could happen close by.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think we'd all like to have that. So
yeah, but it's
very worthwhile in many respects.
But it's not. I mean, you don't get it in when you attend a workshop. So it's only because we do the practice, right?
Yeah.
And then it will happen naturally. Yes, like that. Yeah. But I think animals have it too. when they are not too domesticated, they have also this natural instinct, you know, and they know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah. So we've got about 5 more minutes. It's been fascinating to speak to you. What I'd like to know is, what's your favorite thing to teach at the moment, and how would you like to see your teaching and the Universal Healing Tao develop into the future?
I mean, develop, it
How do you
has already
envision it?
developed.
Sorry?
The Universal Healing Tao system has already developed. Like Master Chia, he always says, we don't have to recreate the wheel. The wheel, we have already the wheel. You see, we just have to make it move. So the system is already there, and asking me what I like, I like to teach everything in the Tao. I enjoy everything. However, now my focus now is maybe more in the meditative practice, like cosmic healing. I like. Then I like to teach a fusion, and of course that's how I, you know, when I advance to this level. So I also like to share it, you know, the higher practices, Kan and Li. But I'm just as well, I like also very much Tai Chi, Qigong, teaching the basic I like very much to teach. So I don't have not something. And what I also like is that this variety, you see, as a teacher. Like, I think sometimes, you know, if I would only teach massage, I would get like a burnout, you know, at some time, because I would just be too boring for me to do all the time the same thing. But since I have these other qualifications that I can also teach different things, and that makes the whole journey much more pleasant.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for speaking to me, Jutta.
You're welcome.
It's been very fascinating.
I'm glad.
Yeah, and yeah, so we look forward to seeing you in a few months.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's again 9th and 10th of March and 6th and 7th of April. And it's the Inner Alchemy Qigong Basics you'll be teaching, and also the Sexual Alchemy Healing Love, which is obviously an extremely popular and needed practice as well, I think, for people.
Oh, yes, and definitely. And that's why I totally understand that Master Chia teaches it at a very early stage, because it needs many years to practice until we succeed. Yes.
Yeah. Lovely. So thank you very much, Jutta.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.